$1,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. Cumberland County says the Planning and Inspections Department has completed a draft of the Hope Mills Area Land Use Plan using ideas and feedback shared by residents throughout the planning process. They invite the community to review the draft and keep helping guide the future of the area. To provide clarity, check out a map of the Hope Mills area boundary to see what's included in the study area. And there's a draft review session next week, Thursday, May 14th, 4 until 7 p.m. at the Hope Mills Parks and Recreation Center. Members of the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office and Police Department for Fayetteville proudly received the Flame of Hope from the Hope Mills Police Department as part of the Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics North Carolina. Runners began the route at J.P. Riddle Stadium, made a stop at the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office, and completed the run at the Fayetteville Police Department. They thank everyone who participated in the run, supported, and cheered on the runners along the way. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
With high pressure building into the area behind the cold front that passed yesterday, we'll see comfortable and dry conditions for our Friday, with lots of sunshine. Then a few showers are possible this weekend with much warmer temperatures. Skies will continue to clear up this morning with temperatures starting in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees. Then we're mostly sunny by this afternoon with highs reaching the low 70s. We'll drop to the low to mid 50s Saturday morning with highs reaching the mid to upper 70s. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
This edition of your local news and weather is brought to you by Fayetteville PWC.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank.
And good morning to you on this Friday. WIDU Morning Show is going to be Troy and DL telephonically. But anyway, hope that you're doing well today. We had I shouldn't say a lot of good rain, but we had some good rain on yesterday and probably going to have some more this weekend. I know it's going to be a little bit of a soggy Mother's Day, but look at it like this. We're in a drought and we need the rain, okay? I know that graduations, many of them are set for Mother's Day, and so that's the way it goes. But anyway, there are going to be some great worship services at various churches honoring mothers. Also, we salute all of the moms out there that are doing fabulous jobs, and certainly some of us that no longer have a living parent. I lost my mom in 2007. Let me tell you this right here. I don't care how much you think they get on your nerves. Love them and be there with them. I'm serious about this. I'm telling you, because when they're gone, Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays, everything changes. The world is never the same. Anyway, good morning, DL. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Echo your sentiments about mothers, and don't leave out close grandmothers, because I had my mother in my life, but my grandmother, my dad's mom, that was a special lady. That's the person in Detroit, because I had teen mom, but that's my grandmother was the one who poured into me, who told she knew what I needed growing up, and I miss her so dearly.
Right. Well, my paternal grandmother didn't never know her. She died in 52, and I was born in 55. And then my maternal grandmother, she lived in New York since the 1920s. So, I see her on special occasions and things like that, but didn't have that kind of close relationship of her being next door. But, it's all good. God is good all the time. And all the time, God is good.
That's good.
We do want to offer condolences to the family of Master Elias Carter Dukes. You're going to know his family. His grandfather is the Honorable Ed Pone and his wife Beverly of Grace Creek, and also his paternal grandparents, Laura Johnson and Michael and Vicky Dukes, both from Fayetteville. But this young man was only 9 years old, and from what I understand, had an extended illness. And so his service will be today at Simon Temple Amen Zion Church there off of Yadkin Road. The visitation would be from 11 to 12, and then the service will start at 12. But again, deal one of them out of sequence type of situations, man. I'm telling you, I feel for families that have to deal with that. That's just, oh man, that's terrible. I mean, that's just
no parent or grandparent wants to bury a child and a grandchild.
I know.
We want that population to outlive us.
Really. So that's going to be today, and we offer our prayers to them and to all those individuals out there that have lost a loved one. I know it's tough, and so it's really tough. One more announcement type thing before we go further. Some of y'all remember Charles Kimball. Charles Kimball was an assistant chief for the city of Fayetteville. Then he went on to become the chief of Spring Lake. And then he went on to the city of Killeen, Texas, and was the chief of police. Well, he retired from the law enforcement, and starting Tuesday, brother, he would be sworn in as a member of the city council. So, Charles Kimball, we salute you and congratulations. He will be sworn in Killeen, Texas, District 2. So, salute you, brother, and we wish you the best.
Okay, let's check him out when I go to Texas. And that's about 2.5 hours from San Antonio, where you went to basic training at Lackland. I'll be there in August, and I know a couple guys, including him, that retired from the military, because he's out at Fort Hood. Right. His wife is a military veteran, so that's out in Fort Hood, Killeen, in Fort Hood. So I'll get to run into Charles.
Yeah. Look now, Councilman Charles now.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Real estate. He dabbled in real estate 2 minutes. Okay. We got a lot to do.
Yeah,
so
let's talk a little bit about, I do want to open up, though, talk a little bit more about, for individuals to know in our community, that the Cumberland County School Board is poised to make a decision about school openings, closings, exactly what they're going to be doing. They're going to be taking a vote on Tuesday. So I would imagine this is going to be finalized at that time. Yesterday, had on a young lady, Miss Chadwick. She was on, and we were talking about Spring Lake. And it was an interesting conversation. Dee, I don't know if you had a chance to listen to that. However, some of the things that she was saying, I got some feedback on some of that. And I think I have greater clarity now. Also, there's some documents that are floating around out there. Look, it's a tough decision, folks, but look, we can't keep all of these schools open now. Enrollment across the whole state of North Carolina has declined in a number of places. And when these schools, some of them have a less than 50% capacity, combining these schools together and school closures is an inevitable process that has to take place.
Yeah, so I did get to listen to your interview. I had somebody doing some housework for me, so I sat down here while he was here, and I like what you said. You can't carry everybody across the finish line, and I'll put a lot of this on the Board of Education. They cause some of this. You have to be, every one of those 9 members have to explain to folks, this is why we're doing this. We hired a consulting firm. What they brought to us was not etched in stone. We are the decision makers, and when you sign up to be an elected official, a public elected official, especially on school boards, councilmen, and board of commissioners, you're saying I can take the scrutiny because I know I'm doing the right thing for everybody in the county. And I feel for the folks in Spring Lake. They feel like they've been abandoned by the rest of the county. But the board is beholden to every taxpayer, not just, you got folks who do not have kids. They're married. But you have to answer to them, too, because you have to be good stewards of the folks' money. And it's going to be a tough decision. Not only this is a school board issue, the Board of Commissioners say, hey, you guys come to us for purse strings. Now, Tor, right now, on this day, you got fights between boards. Cabarrus County chastised their school board. That's in Concord, Kannapolis. Gastonia, Gaston County, they chastised their school board before giving them money a couple weeks ago. I sent you and Jay that article to throw them a lifeline. So this is a Board of Commissioners issue, and listen, they're sitting and watching.
Yeah, well, I think that, based on the conversation I had with her, she was a former member of the Spring Lake Alderman Board. I think they call themselves commissioners now. However, let's break down some of what was said, because I think, a greater clarity now than I did on yesterday. First of all, I don't think that people were downing Spring Lake. I'm not a developer, but this is the developer approach. Number one, you don't build schools based on what might happen. They are more responsive to what is. In other words, you can say, well, we're going to have a population boom, and we know this is going to happen, so we're going to build a school to accommodate that. That's not the way it goes. The population has to already be there, and then the school responds to that, not the other way around. First thing. Second thing is, I don't think it was a knock, from what I'm told, on Spring Lake. People, okay, I know you have this incredible vision, and there's nothing wrong with that. You are looking at it from a positive perspective. The glass is more than half full. That's what you believe is going to happen. But if you are in development, you're looking at houses that are built, new homes that are built, not apartments. And so there was a concern there that, hey, look, you guys are building a lot of apartments type, but not residential homes. And you don't want to build a new school or invest in schools in that model. It needs to be new homes being built, neighborhoods, not apartments. And so I think there was an offense taken by some in Spring Lake because of that concept, but I don't perceive it to be something that was meant to be negative towards them like that. Last point. So if they decide to close Manchester Elementary School, which is a primary school, okay, you still have Spring Lake Middle School there. And the youngsters go, I'm told, 1.1 miles away to another school. That's 1.1 miles. If that school reaches capacity, the plan was not to take those youngsters from Spring Lake and send them to Ponderosa. The overflow was for the youngsters that were outside of Spring Lake. If they are, because those kids are being brought there from other places as well, those youngsters would go to Ponderosa, not the Spring Lake youngsters. So, that's the take that I was told.
All right.
And so, and for me now, that makes sense. But again, though, like we were saying earlier, I don't know what the vote is going to be about something, but everybody's not going to be happy.
Yeah, but like I said, I think our board members, they have microphones, and I think before they did the first vote, then they reversed it and came out and had town hall meetings. That was folks had a right to be beside themselves when you did it that way. You should have did it the opposite. So, and I'll say this, really what has hurt the town of Spring Lake is two things. When the state had to reroute traffic and it took away a lot of storefront businesses, that hurt Spring Lake. And the growth of Anderson Creek in Harnett County, that hurt Spring Lake. But it was progress in other areas, but it also hurt Spring Lake. And I feel for the town folks. I don't want to minimize how they're feeling about their community school, and they have every right to feel that way. It's just a tough decision. Like you say, everybody can't get carried across the finish line. But our board members need to be statesmen and stateswomen and stand up and stop making sure wrong and hurtful information that is detrimental to the community and cause division is not put out.
Right. And the last thing is, I know we do comparison analysis. We're looking at Beaver Dam, and we talk about Massey Hill, but as my understanding, Massey Hill has been a classical school for a minute. It's not a neighborhood school. If that school was kept open, it's not for the Massey Hill community. It's a classical school, and under that model of being a classical school, people are bringing their children there from across the whole county. And there are a couple schools like that. So, but that's where we are. But again, I'm with you. I know there's one board member that's vocal about it, and but everybody needs to be vocal,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so on to other stuff, sir. There's that Supreme Court ruling. I think that the people that wanted to push those multi-districts there in Louisiana, they're upset. But DL, they got to understand, like Justice Roberts was in Pennsylvania earlier this week, he said, people don't understand. Our job is to interpret. That's it. We're not there as activists. And I think the person that Biden appointed, Justice Jackson, even the liberals on the board are kind of trying to haul her in and say, look, we don't become activists at this level. There was one vote that they took was 8-1. So 8 members of the court felt a certain way about something, and she, as a Lone Ranger, was out there in the weeds on an issue like, hey, look, but we just got to get activism out of politics, period, for people that need to be making decisions. They need to make decisions based on other things, not activism.
Well, I don't know which decision that you're talking about when it comes to Ketanji Jackson, Supreme Court, Ketanji Jackson. So I'll reserve the right to have to get back with you on that. I'll say it again. When it comes to voting rights, if they need to move off something, a constitutional law that was signed in by President Johnson, I would have loved for the House and the Congress, the appropriate body in Washington, D.C., to move on for it. I don't like putting it in the hands of courts, but we're at that juncture, and folks are not going to like it. Are we sticking with Louisiana, or are we going to Tennessee?
Okay, but but look, for me, it's all one. It's one big ball. I mean, it's not. I mean, we could talk about Tennessee, but Tennessee is a result of Louisiana. But first of all, for somebody that may not know, let's quickly run through what happened in Louisiana. Now, I'm not giving you dates, but I'm just giving you a Cliff Notes version of this. Okay, Louisiana had one congressional African American or black district, what they call majority minority. Okay, and they said, well, hey, look, we want 2. And there was pushback. So, no, you can have 1, but we can't have 2. So people sued them because of that proposed 2nd district. It went all the way to the Supreme Court. And the basis for the new district, they said because of race. And the court is saying now that you cannot draw a gerrymander based on race. You can gerrymander based on politics, which is, if you go all the way back to the guy that named Jerry, that is named after, the court has always said you can you can do that based upon politics. In other words, you can gerrymander because of Democrat, Republican, but they're saying now you cannot gerrymander based on skin color. That's what, and that's what happened. And so that causes everything to flip.
Okay, here's my take on this now. So the way they carved up Memphis, which is a black, predominated black city, they carved it up in so many congressional districts. It's crazy. I don't know why the state representative, even though that was, he's a state representative, but they wasn't carving up state districts that was a federal district, and that was a committee meeting. I don't know if he was put out because he was being disorderly, or was the committee at capacity, because Tennessee law allows anybody to see a committee meeting. So, number one on that. When it comes to, so why not stop at the, don't stop at the congressional maps. Go ahead and do it state locally. So right now, North Carolina or any other states that the GOP has a stronghold on, the supermajority, go ahead and take away any black district and just do whatever you want to, because you say the green light is there. And I'll tell you this with black representation, Troy. You said Fayetteville, and even the mayor said this. You know, we're predominantly, some of these town boards and county boards are predominantly black, and they, you know, we're not going to let nothing happen out to the black community. Okay, once upon a time, that was not the way. I remember when I started in city government in 1992, black folks off your Fowler Street, the landfill, had no representation. Now, but the script has been flipped in Cumberland County and Fayetteville. We do have a number of black representation, so they won't have the same issues in other places such as Memphis, Tennessee, where they're gutting up a city into 2 or 3 congressional districts. That's unheard of. So let's face it, Texas started it at the behest of somebody in D.C., then California started it, Missouri did it, Indiana
Virginia
wouldn't do it. And then those folks got voted out. So it's going to be open and wild now. It's the wild west, like I said.
But people are not losing their vote. You know what I mean? The whole notion that somebody's losing their vote that's not true.
Troy.
That's not true.
Okay.
I mean, now it's just like you
say
said. Hold on, wait a minute, back up. Because see, I'm very familiar with the thing with Eufaula Street. At that time, WIDU was at 145 Rowan, and trust me, they were in our studios almost every day. I'm telling you, look, they did have representation. Maybe they didn't have representation that looked like them, but they had representation because they was inside the city. So that's the issue right there. So now, okay, I know, but look, hold on a minute. Think about this. We have now what we call majority minority districts. I mean, that's how they started. We're talking about District 2. And we talk about District 5, because I believe that's where DJ Harry is, and we talk about District 7. Okay, so now these districts were created so an African-American person could get elected to the Fayetteville City Council, okay? But now, look, brother, they are no longer majority-minority districts. You know what they are now? They are majority-majority districts. So is it, I'm just saying, in the sense of fairness, is it fair to have a black carved out district in Fayetteville when the majority of the voters in Fayetteville are black? Because I understand now, go to District 6, when Bill Crisp was there, he won. That was supposedly be a white district, but since there have been 3 people now, 3 terms of people there that Bill Crisp, Chris Davis, and now Derek Thompson are all African Americans elected in what was supposed to be a white district. Go to District 1, more recently right now. You have Kathy Jensen. She just stepped down running for mayor. Stephon Ferguson, he's an African American. He's in District 1. So you got 2 districts that's one, I guess somebody might consider to be white, and that would be District, I think I mixed up the district. Well, wherever Lynn Green is, maybe she's District 5. And maybe DJ Harris, District 4. But still, that district out near the hospital, that might be white. But where Dino Hondros is at, there was an African American in that district before him. You understand what I'm saying? So is there a need for Fayetteville to have specially drawn districts for African Americans to get elected? I think that's a fair question, don't you?
Okay, I'll tell you right now. For Fayetteville, they don't have the same situation as some of the other places that I say, specifically Memphis, because I ain't focused on the demographics or the land distribution or whatever in Louisiana. So Fayetteville, yes, a white person could say, hey, DOJ, make them do whatever. We don't like this no more in Fayetteville, Cumberland County. So, they tried a couple years ago. Fayetteville put on the ballot to go some of those districts to go at large, and it failed overwhelmingly. So the citizens of Fayetteville spoke.
Black citizens, but look, if white people were doing that to black people, what would they be doing, brother? They would be suing them, taking them before the courts. Am I right?
Okay, so the white folks can do that. The white folks can do that right now in Fayetteville. But one thing that before we move off this, because I know we bumped up against the break, with what you said about the SCOTUS, even though we're going to venture off, let's have another conversation about our SCOTUS since you talked about Ketanji Jackson, because I like to deep dive in some of their decisions. He hasn't been there long enough to be making some decisions that impact the rest of the United States. And we do have some activist judges on there.
Yeah, but it's been pretty, the whole thing was an 8-1 vote. It's been out there for a minute. There's been a lot of conversation about it. I'm sorry, I apologize. I thought that, you had seen that before. But again, an 8-1 vote. So in other words, you brand new and you know more than 8 people that's been there, that are veterans. I'm talking about the liberals, the liberals and the conservatives.
They're interpreting law. They're interpreting the law.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying, but
one way.
I understand that. But my point is, here it is. Her liberal friends are not with her, nor, of course, the conservatives are not with her. But the liberals on the court are not with her either. That's my point. I'm just saying is that it smacks of activism. I'm just using it as an example. And I guess we could talk about the same thing when it comes to these people locally, because I believe we got people now running for office, the board of commissioners. They're more activists than they are anything else. But you can't tell them that that's not a part of what they're supposed to be doing. Rather than working with their constituents and getting things done, I think we have activists that are on these boards. I'm talking about these elected boards, and they cause more problems for themselves and their constituents than they do solving problems and bringing resources back to the people that they're supposed to represent.
Okay, yeah, but we're going to do the Ketanji Jackson down the road. I'm going to do some research now because we got to debate this one.
Look, we're going to go to a break, come back. It's Out of the Morning Show, Troy DL, and we'll be talking more following this.
Remember the rotary phone? Well, soon that's what people are going to ask about gas-powered cars. And every day we see videos of robots becoming more and more like us. Welcome to the future. At Fayetteville State University, we believe that anything really can happen. So wherever it is that you want to go, we've got a program for that. Visit Fayetteville State University and find out how we're preparing students just like you for what comes next. Fayetteville State University. Are you in?
The United Arab Emirates says it came under attack with drones and missiles from Iran. Thursday, a hacker group called Shiny Hunter says it's responsible for a data breach of web-based learning management system Canvas and would release data it acquired if it is not paid a ransom by May 12th. Many schools in the state are affected. If you've noticed more black bears around lately, you're not alone. In Black Mountain, for instance, the police department says sightings there have become much more common over the past several weeks. The Marine Corps Air Station at Cherry Point Air Show starts May 9th and runs all weekend, a biannual event. Cherry Point has been working the past 2 years to make this year's air show better than ever. With Mother's Day on Sunday, retailers are preparing for an onslaught of last-minute shoppers. It's Sir David Attenborough's 100th birthday today. Mike Rayleigh, NCI News.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. Cumberland County says the Planning and Inspections Department has completed a draft of the Hope Mills Area Land Use Plan using ideas and feedback shared by residents throughout the planning process. They invite the community to review the draft and keep helping guide the future of the area. To provide clarity, check out a map of the Hope Mills area boundary to see what's included in the study area. And there's a draft review session next week, Thursday, May 14th, 4 until 7 p.m. at the Hope Mills Parks and Recreation Center. Members of the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office and Police Department for Fayetteville proudly received the Flame of Hope from the Hope Mills Police Department as part of the Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics North Carolina. Runners began the route at J.P. Riddle Stadium, made a stop at the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office, and completed the run at the Fayetteville Police Department. They thank everyone who participated in the run, supported, and cheered on the runners along the way. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
Good Friday morning. We start your day with clearing skies and temperatures in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees. We'll have lots of sunshine by this afternoon, and highs will be comfortable, reaching the low 70s. We're then partly cloudy overnight and through Saturday morning. Temperatures drop to the low to mid 50s. We'll be mostly sunny to partly cloudy for your Saturday afternoon. Highs reach the mid to upper 70s. Some isolated showers are possible. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
Hey, Cumberland County. Looking for a job with purpose? Cumberland County government is hiring. We offer great career opportunities where you can serve your community and grow your future. Explore openings and apply today at cumberlandcountync.gov/jobs. Need help? The county's recruitment team is here to guide you every step of the way. Visit cumberlandcountync.gov/jobs to apply to join the Cumberland County team.
Hey, you looking for your next car? Start at Bryan Honda, 4104 Rayford Road in Fayetteville. At Bryan Honda, we make buying a car simple, stress-free, and affordable. Whether you're searching for a brand new Honda or a quality pre-owned vehicle, we've got a huge selection to fit every lifestyle and every budget. From fuel-efficient Civics and Accords to family-friendly CRVs and Pilots, Bryan Honda has the perfect vehicle waiting for you, and with our friendly, knowledgeable sales team, you'll never feel pressured. Need financing? No problem. Bryan Honda works with multiple lenders to get you approved fast with competitive rates that make sense for you. Plus, our certified service department is here long after the sale, keeping your Honda running strong for years to come. Drive smarter, drive happier, and drive home today from Bryan Honda, 4104 Rayford Road in Fayetteville, or you can visit online, BryanHonda.com. Your road starts here. Nobody beats a Bryan Honda deal, not now, not ever.
I'm Attorney Alan Rogers of the Rogers Law Firm, and I stand on the strong moral principles of my parents, the late Bishop Zach Rogers Jr. and First Lady Mary Rogers. I've practiced law for over 30 years, serving this community and surrounding communities from Cumberland County, Scotland County, and throughout North Carolina. We have a proven track record of putting 12 in the box, trying our cases, and bringing home victories. We've settled as well as gotten verdicts of millions of dollars, and we'll do the same for you. So give us a call at 910-433-0833, the Rogers Firm. With a proven track record, let us deliver for you.
With high pressure building into the area behind the cold front that passed yesterday, we'll see comfortable and dry conditions for our Friday, with lots of sunshine. Then a few showers are possible this weekend with much warmer temperatures. Skies will continue to clear up this morning, with temperatures starting in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees. Then we're mostly sunny by this afternoon, with highs reaching the low 70s. We'll drop to the low to mid 50s Saturday morning, with highs reaching the mid to upper 70s. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
About 24 minutes for the top of the hour here again. Back to morning show. DL is on the line. DL, one thing that we did want to talk about also was on our list was the mayor wants a feasibility study on a conference center downtown Fayetteville. According to Mayor Mitch Colvin, he's comparing us to other municipalities in North Carolina who have downtown conference centers, and we don't have one. Well, first of all, just because somebody else has something and it works for them, don't mean it's going to work for us. Are we prepared for that, or do we have something, or should we be looking for something comparable, whatever? But we'll see what the feasibility study cost and whether or not what they say. But what says you about that, guy?
Well, I'll tell you this. The mayor was on the other day, and I read his article. I don't agree with a convention center, and I don't have a dog in the fight. And I'll say this. When you talk about convention center, you're talking about gun show, knife shows. Those will fit in the Charlie Rose. And if you do an RV show, you need that parking lot out there. Now, Mr. Mayor, I do agree with you about an entertainment venue because I thought that's what they wanted. And entertainment venue, yes. And I tell you, Troy, the stakeholders will probably like it, meaning the citizens, because this could be a joint venture. I want you to picture this, Troy. David Tepper, who owns the Panthers, he's a billionaire. All right, Charlotte has the Time Warner Arena. They have the Bojangles Arena of Independence, and then they have Evans Auditorium and Blumenthal Performing Arts. Now, we know the population of Charlotte is close to 1 million compared to Fayetteville. However, Dave Tepper said we need a small event venue. So with his money by himself, no taxpayers, he said he wants to bring in the global touring acts and comedy shows, and then, in the seated intimate clubs. In between, what he's saying is you don't need Time Warner, who seats close to 19 for every event. You need that small event venue. DPAC, owned by the city of Durham, that seats 2712. So, and then, my hometown, Mooresville, North Carolina, on their school campus, but the board does not own this building. They have a state-of-the-art venue that seats anywhere from 15 to 1,800 people for events and lectures. The town owns the building, but it's on school board property. So I would say this in Cumberland County. If the city, the county, I don't know if this, you can squeeze the school board in there, find you a big money donor like Ross Perot with the ASOM, the Airborne Special Operations Museum, and I say go for it. Nothing wrong with the feasibility study if that's what the taxpayers want, but it can be done. It needs to be a joint venture. Find you, what's Jeff Bezos' wife's name, Mackenzie Phillips or whatever her name is, if I'm incorrect, Scott. See if there's somebody out there. Also, listen, Troy, you ever had that TV show called Fame where the kids who are performers, they go at a performing arts school? You could get Cumberland County to make you a performing arts school downtown and attach that auditorium and make it multi-purpose use. So there's ways to get this done, and I think everybody that can be happy. So his idea is not far-fetched, but I think a convention center, you have that already in place, and you have the adequate parking for car shows. I don't know if you can get that in downtown, but a small entertainment venue, anywhere from 2,500 to 3,500 for downtown Fayetteville, go for it.
Right. So now, in the midst of all of that, across the street, not across town, but across the street, the Cumberland County Commissioners, they did vote to bring in contractors to rehab the Crown Arena and the Crown Theater. So, I got that. I don't. Are they competing with each other? What are they doing? I do know this. We had the chairman of the Board of Commissioners was with us on Tuesday, and he told me that, he told all of us, he hadn't heard about that. I mean, I'm trying to understand why there is no cross-contamination of information here. The mayor, Coven, and Chairman Deviere were in this room behind these microphones last month. Why can't you just pick up the phone and say, hey, you know what? We're thinking about this right here. Why should these groups be finding stuff out in the newspaper or on TV? That's my question.
Yeah. I can understand, because at the end of the day, what we say, you used an acronym the other day. I think it was funny, sketchy, about describing somebody else's money. I can't remember what you said. It was funny.
OPM.
I was laughing at it. Yeah.
OPM.
Because the taxpayers. And I can say this about Mayor Coven. Mayor Coven's been reelected. For all the folks who criticize the city, and I know they had some issues, unfortunate issues with tennis courts and other venues. But I can say this, as a former city employee, whenever cities did brick and mortar new projects, never had any issues. Unfortunately, they had some bumps in the road. But when you reelect Mayor Colvin time and time out again, so what he's doing, the taxpayers said if they don't have the voters don't have the issue with it. But
well, let's understand now. Hold on, man. You got two different things going on. Okay, in fairness, because this is what some of the critics are saying. I can't disagree with this. When you got less than 20% of the people voting, though, it's not a mandate here. When you've got sometimes 15% of the people voting, like 15 out of 100 people are making a decision for the other 85. Now that's their fault if they don't go to the polls. But still, he speaks for everybody eventually. However, the voting percentages are extremely low. I just wonder if everybody went to the polls, who would win?
Okay, hold on a second, George. Well, that's not Mayor Colvin or any other elected official fault that nobody comes to the poll. I get what you're saying, but I was told when you don't vote, you don't. When you don't vote, you don't vote.
That's true.
But I don't want to get off. I don't want to get off the point. But yes, you got to be cautious. And like you said, feasibility study. He's not jumping into it because before we move on to something else. But one thing that's going to come in the picture with this, if they do go forward with it, you're going to have to compete against some possibly casinos and entertainment venues down the road in Robeson County. So that's one of the I ain't gonna say it's a negative effect of the Lumbee River being federally recognized, because that's great for that county and that community. But that's going to be taken in consideration because, folks, entertainment, like when I go to those Steelers games, that's disposable income, and not everybody has that kind of disposable income. And we don't want that foot, you know what happened out at the Crown when they wasn't getting events. They had to have another a third party take over booking, and you just don't want that. But I think the biggest thing here, Troy, is like we talked about, me and you off air, the First Horizon Bank in Greensboro, they got naming rights to the Greensboro Coliseum. So I wish the citizens, because a lot of taxpayers in Cumberland County want to have that venue, and there's some that's never going to be for that venue, but we'll see what happens.
Sure. Well, I would say that now, the way this is being framed, and this is statewide news, what's going on in Robeson County, that's Robeson, not Robeson, Robeson County, that will affect southeastern North Carolina. That's the way it's being framed by legislative and economic entities statewide. So yes, what's going on in our neighbor just to the south clearly will affect us.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, but I mean, I got that piece. So again, look, I'm not trying to get off track. I'm just saying is that saying that Fayetteville wants something when less than 20% of the people make the vote is one thing, but what people don't want sometimes, they're not paying attention to the elections, but enough that if stuff comes along that they don't like, then all of a sudden you got a greater number of people showing up against it. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. I just don't like the way one print media source keeps trying to frame things, trying to go back to a decision that the Board of Commissioners made regarding this, and they always trying to frame this up like, well, they didn't do this. I mean, it was a $200 million debacle. I mean, make it make sense. There's no way that Cumberland County should have been getting into that solely on the backs of taxpayers. There was no partnership with any type of private entity or anything, and because it's OPM, other people's money. The people that wanted that, they didn't care. Because look, I would have to be 96 years old or older. I'd probably have to be 100 years old before the thing was paid off, DL. That was ridiculous.
Yeah. Hey, but I hope the mayor comes back, because
he'll be back.
I want to get some clarity. Did he mean a convention center and an entertainment venue where you have seats downtown? He want both, are just, he just used the word convention center. I'm interested to see him because if I'm a taxpayer of Cumberland County, I would see, I could think about where you put your behind and cent like that, something like what Dave Tapper in the DPAC, but a convention center where you need, to me, you have to have multiple events because, you know what I'm saying? Because some of your events will be outside and you need real estate such as RV shows, and that just wouldn't be feasible downtown Fayetteville because parking's already an issue. I would just love to hear him come back and talk about that before, because hopefully he'll come back before June because, usually he comes back after the first council meeting of the month. But I'm just interested to see what he's talking about because it's,
Well, the first question I'm going to have is this. Dear, the first question I'm going to have is this. Why don't you just pick up the phone and talk to the chairman of the Board of Commissioners? There's no reason for us to not be having a conversation here. I don't like that. Man, this is not New York and you in one borough in Manhattan and another in Bronx and we ain't talking to each other. I mean, that don't make sense. I mean, they know each other. They've been on the station together. There is no need for the Board of Commissioners to be surprised, so to speak, as to asking for a feasibility study for something to be done downtown when most of them live in Fayetteville anyway. You know what I mean? They live in the city limits. Yeah, that don't make sense to me. Now, to me, that don't make sense. And when he gets here, that's going to be one of the first questions I'm going to ask him. I'm just, it's not a criticism, just a question. Tell me, sir, why didn't you pick up the phone and talk to your colleagues that are legislators on Dick Street, and I know you are on Hay Street? I mean, I can walk from one building to the next in 3 minutes. That don't make sense to me, bro.
Yeah, you're a fast walker if you can make that happen.
Well, I mean, that's not right. It's just right there, man. Well, look, I do walk pretty fast, but still, at a maximum of 5 minutes. Come on, it's right there.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Yeah.
But anyway, though, your choice. We got 10 minutes left, 11 minutes left. We can go in whatever direction you want to go in.
Oh yeah, let's talk about justice. Listen. I don't care, if you're a Duke lacrosse player. I don't care if you're a federal elected official, state, local, anybody. It can be the poorest person. The district attorney, U.S. attorney, state's attorney, whatever you want to call them, local prosecutor, job is to bring cases that they know they should be able to get a conviction on. This is what happened with this football player in Massachusetts. And I bring up Massachusetts, if you look at their congressional map district, it's all blue. That's not my issue, but I want to point that out. Massachusetts is a very liberal state. Stephon Diggs, who used to play for the Minnesota Vikings, then he got traded to, where did he go from Minnesota? Buffalo Bills, then to Houston Texans, hurt his ACL. Now he played the last couple of years. Then he played one season with New England Patriots. So, listen, this is not about morality. We're not morality police. So he had a shell and had a relationship with her. And this lady, the Commonwealth of what they call Massachusetts put this lady on a stand, Troy. Folks, if you want to Google, the lady's name is out there, Stephon Diggs accuser. She couldn't answer questions. She was combative. And his defense attorney was sorry. When you ask direct questions, they're not open. When you answer questions, some questions are yes or no when you're the defense. You don't let them ramble. This case was in shambles. He was found not guilty. When you sit and look at this case, man, you be thinking, how did this make it to trial? She had to be prepped. She had to be talked to by the state's attorney. I say this and say that. Stephon Diggs should be suing the state of Massachusetts for malicious prosecutions because they accuse him of criminal assault and battery. And when the man asked the lady, well, how did he slap you? He said the right hand. Well, he put her hand on her left face because usually if I slap you, Troy, I would never slap you, Troy. I'm going to slap you on your, if I'm looking at you, Troy, and I use my right hand, it's going to be your left cheek. If you Google this, everybody should be upset at this because this is a person with money. I've never seen anything like it. And folks are upset at a state Democratic state senator in Virginia being charged by the Justice Department. It read the indictment, but it does look funny when Virginia just
tried to put forth new congressional maps, and they got kicked back, and now this lady's being charged. But that's not my point. But folks are upset at that. Rightfully so, if you think it's nefarious, if you think it's something that's inappropriate and it's about politics. But you should also be upset with the Stephon Diggs situation, because when men are accused of criminal assault, and women too, but women usually are not accused of criminal assault, their name's put in the newspaper, and then we judge them in the court of public opinion, and the woman's name is usually not put out there because they're dealing with criminal assault. This is a travesty of the criminal justice system. When you see this lady on this stand, the prosecuting witness, your first question should be, first of all, Stephon Diggs' defense attorney was not good, but you should ask, why would a district attorney bring this case forward? And I know I've said a lot, folks, but it's just, I can't believe what I saw.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I was talking to an attorney yesterday about a case, and he was like, Troy, look, the ADA is saying that he don't want to bring it to trial because he can't find anybody that would be a witness. But the office is saying, you're going to try this anyway. You see what I'm saying? So that kind of stuff happens. I mean, but make it make sense. When clearly you don't have a good case against someone, but you're going to try it anyway. I mean, I don't know why they do that. I mean, make it make sense, but that's going on right here.
Yeah, these, district attorneys, you're the last defense. And, it's just, I couldn't believe it. It was almost comical. I'm like, this witness can't be this serious. Then, you know what should have happened? That local ADA should have said, going to his bosses or her boss and say, if you prosecute this case and make me do it, I need to go somewhere else. Because I'm not going to, but some people won't, I ain't going to say down the hill, but they won't make a stand on certain things because I get the accuser was a black female and the defendant was a black male. So, I guess it was a wash, but I tell you, it was just weird that I seen how that played out. I just couldn't believe it that this was the witness.
Well, see, sometimes I think people misunderstand what the role of the district attorney should be. The role of the district attorney should be for justice as well, not convictions. You know what I mean? Some people misconstrue that the DA's office should just be about convictions. It should be about justice. In other words, if someone should be exonerated from a crime or proving not guilty, then they ought to be down for that too. But, you and I both know, we got criminal justice backgrounds. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them are about this right here. What they want to do is to have a high conviction rate. So they don't care whether you was innocent or not. They want to say, hey, look, 99% of the folk coming before me, I found them guilty. Now, whether or not they were guilty or not is not the issue. They just want to have a high conviction rate. That's the way it works.
Man, I don't know how, I tell you, all the players of the criminal justice system, you call what's the attorney you have, public defender's office, the DA's office, judges, and even the citizens that sit on the jury. To me, when you're a part of that system, you got to look at yourself. I want to treat this person like I would want myself or a family member treated fair. And if you don't, if you start doing things you shouldn't do because, and you try to justify you're tipping the scales one way or the other because you're trying to right or wrong, to me, you're wrong. You're wrong. And you don't need to be serving on juries or working in that system. But we know that's not the case, unfortunately. And not everybody has a moral compass, so
A lot of them. Look, I'm gonna bring up another point since as you talk about public defenders. So, St. Laurie told me yesterday, and this is what happens now: when there is a vacancy, the head public defender, the local bar association, they get together and they take a vote as to whom they believe should be the head public defender, okay? Then, but now the decision, though, ultimately is made by the resident Superior Court judge. But in times past, the resident Superior Court judge relies on the vote of the local lawyers, which is called the bar. Well, the local bar said they wanted Attorney A to be the public defender. I'm told that the resident Superior Court judge said, no, I'm going with Attorney B, who is outside of the loop. Again, they're saying, man, what's going on? You know, we haven't had these kind of situations in the past, and but you know, nobody's probably not going to write about it. But all of that occurred is very interesting because Attorney B has political connections. What can I say? Stuff happens.
Yeah, but I tell you, you bring up the public defenders. You know, the late Ron Pretty, Fayetteville Police Department. He went on to be with God. He used to tell me about your friend, retired Supreme Court Judge Weeks, when he was a public defender. Because I've seen it in action, Troy. Some public defenders are not as good. Some of them try to do the right thing. Some of them are just inexperienced. I'll say this. But when it was retired Judge Greg Weeks, he didn't play around. He didn't play with you. When he was public defender, he was the man.
Yeah. I met him, basically. Matter of fact, I started off as a courtroom bailiff. That's how we met, and we became friends then, and still friends to this day. And especially, Tarnished Badge down in Robeson County, that's the judge that had brought all that stuff to light. Corruption, he busted it up, man. I mean, this guy, but he's a true warrior, man, when it comes to that. And I think he doesn't he doesn't get the credit that he deserves for bringing about.
He does not. That's what
change.
That's why I mentioned him. Hey, thanks a lot. We'll talk.
Yeah, but he's a good member there at Lewis Chapel Missionary Baptist Church. His family, and just a great guy. He is, and he's still with us.
Yes, he is.
But he's getting a little older like the rest of us. So he's in his 80s now. But anyway, well, look, man, our time is up. Hope you have a great weekend, sir. And our good producer this morning, the producer of the year, it is Tammy Quick, TQ, Tammy Quick. She's got it going on, and she'll be here all day working with the groups after us. At 10 o'clock, we have Dr. Godbolt, and they're coming on, and that's a heartbeat. And at 11 o'clock, you have MP3, so don't go anywhere. Right here, your station for inspiration information, WIDU 1600 AM 99.7. Thank you, DL. You guys have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all of you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
WIDU